Authentic Grenadian products are now only a mouse click away at GrenadaMarket.com. Nutmeg and guava jams, jellies and syrups, world-famous nutmeg pain relief spray, black sage, soursop, lemongrass, and bois bande bar. Ordering is simple and friendly. All major credit cards accepted. Safe, secure shopping guaranteed. GrenadaMarket.com ships your product anywhere in the world. So when you can't go to the island, the products off the island can be sent to you. Just log on to www.grenadamarket.com and experience our quick delivery and homely service.
Welcome. How you guys doing? Right along live, where everyone has a story to tell. Thank you for locking in. Thank you for joining in. Come in right now and share the thing. And as you share, I want you to say, I share. Simple like that. I share. Yellow Lacy me say, welcome under the new name. Telling all you, I ain't lucky like all you, all you have all kind of, let me just say it before all you. I had one account and then they found out and then I ain't gonna say because I want to expose some of all you. I want all you to end up in Facebook jail. Lydia Joseph, how you doing? Welcome to the ride. Stephanie Joseph, Osetta Joseph, everyone that's locking in. Joan Martin, how you doing? Welcome. Jennifer, big up yourself. Guys, today we have a conversation and a reaction. Today our guest is former Prime Minister, Mr. Tillman Thomas, Uncle Tilly, Prime Minister from Grenada from 2008 to 2013. We're going to talk to him as we do this reaction to the shocking town hall meeting that was held yesterday, where so much information was discussed, put out there. And I know that you guys have a lot to say as well. So this is as much myself and Uncle Tilly's conversation as it is your conversation, because I know you have a lot to say. And this is the program where we want to ventilate on your thoughts and ideas. So, phone line is going to be open. You guys could call in and speak to it, speak on it. Wendy, Charles, thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. Everybody share a couple times. Yeah, share a couple times. Good night to you. Bruno, how you doing, my friend? Thank you, Bruno. How you doing? Nice. Guys, tag a friend. Let me tag a friend over here as well. People say make sure when you start today that you tag me. So that's what I'm doing right now. Tagging along. Share the live, guys. Share the live. Few more pages to go. Few more pages to go. Hey, Val John, how you doing? Yes. Uncle Tilly is ready, guys. Uncle Tilly is ready to chat with us about his reaction and protocol breach off in some instances, and what we learned from the town hall meeting yesterday. All right, everybody tag somebody. Hey, Kiki, how you doing, Kiki? My friend. Thank you so much, Kiki. Yes, okay. Yes, guys. All right, so listen, guys, let's go right on. Where should I start? Yesterday, guys, a lot of us learned some new information pertaining to, well, it's actually allegations, right? Pertaining to some mismanagement of funds, and that was the government proposal of some of the things that they found while after 100 or so days in office. Those information was relayed in the form of a town hall meeting that was held yesterday by the Prime Minister and other members of the cabinet. As I said, some of the information was indeed shocking to learn. I must also say that some of the allegation we were expecting to have possibly a press release from the opposition side. We had yet to receive any kind of press release on a response from what was said. We did, in fact, also reach out to some members of the NNP camp to give us some explanation, and at this time, it didn't happen. So hopefully, between the next couple of days or so, we're going to get a response. And here we have an open door policy. If there are allegations, we expect the other side to at least come out and respond, right, in whatever way. So hopefully, within a couple of days, we'll hear those reactions to it. So to help us dissect and put this thing into perspective is former Prime Minister of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, brother Uncle Tilly, not brother, but Uncle Tilly. Uncle Tilly, welcome to the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, and good evening to all those who are part of the program. It's always up to share on matters of national importance.
Yes, absolutely. And indeed, there are a lot of stuff to talk about. But Uncle Tilly, before we talk about this big elephant in the room as it relates to the issue that was outlined yesterday, I want to get your view on something that was mentioned just a few days ago by the new administration, and it has to do with the holiday, making October 19th a holiday in Grenada in celebration of Maurice Bishop, and that was the day that he was assassinated. What's your thoughts on what was proposed by the new administration?
Well, I believe that for a holiday within that period, but it should not be the 19th, a disastrous day.
Mm-hmm.
How do you celebrate a calamity? It's a day we have, but I mean, our leaders were executed on that day.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it is the appropriate day for a day of reflection. Yeah, it's a day that we have to be thinking about our institutions, a significant day in our history. But in my view, I don't think it is the appropriate day for the holiday. It is, too bloody a day to be regarded.
Yeah. So do you support then the 25th, which is now considered as Thanksgiving Day? Do you support having this day remain and celebrated as a holiday the day the American came?
Definitely, I do. And person, anyone who has been realistic and sincere about the situation we faced within Grenada at that time would endorse the 25th as a holiday. First,
mm-hmm.
They talk about an invasion. What was there to be invaded? No legitimate government, no legitimate authority at the time.
Mm-hmm.
People were under house arrest. The country was not governed. What? When you invade, you invade those in authority, either to remove them, but there's nothing to take over from. There no, in a sense, it was more liberation and experience. Because after the American came in, I got out of prison. And, I may have a personal bias because I was on the 25th. It's only 26. I really got out when the Americans came in and liberated the prison.
Right.
Realistic.
So for you, it was a liberation. It was a liberation day.
For me, we have to think about the restoration of our democratic institution.
Right.
We must say, because we were deprived of that. I mean, no freedom of expression, no freedom of assembly. Treated, if you toe the line, you end up in Richmond Hill. So I believe that we ought to be thankful for and to celebrate that we have begun to restore our democratic institution from that period.
Right.
Of course, right now what is happening there show that things are not perfect, but we have to continue and strengthen our democratic institutions.
Right.
So my personal position is that there is a more appropriate day in terms of the restoration of democracy in the society, the people who are in prison in their own homes.
Right. Okay. So we're hearing from our viewers that they're having a bit of a challenge hearing you, your audio breaking up a slight bit. So I'm going to ask you to pull the headphone piece out and let's see if it's better. Pull the headphone out from the computer, from the iPad, and let's see if the audio is better there, because we want to, let's see if it's better there. All right, let's try again.
Yes. Are you hearing me better now?
I think it's a little bit better. Hopefully it stays consistent like that. They were just having a little bit of an issue hearing you properly, but I think that this might be the charm right here. All right, so you're saying no to the 25th, even if the statement is that it's a day of remembrance where people remember Maurice Bishop, but you say no because there is nothing to celebrate. It was a bloody day, and it should not be. Instead, the Liberation Day, which is on the 25th, should be maintained as the holiday.
Yeah, I think the 25th. Of course, we all know what happened on the 19th, but the 25th is more appropriate to celebrate. Of course, you see some of the people who are involved in face the reality of the demise of the revolution, and they want to be remembered, because of the revolution. But something could be done. It doesn't have to be the 19th.
Right. Okay. All right. I just wanted to get that perspective look from you, because I know you were somehow involved, and everybody's saying, "Oh, we want to hear about the main topic," and I just want them to be a little bit patient. They say here they want to hear about the topic of the day. I'm telling you, my viewers, Uncle Tilly, they're very demanding. They want what they want, and they want it when they want it. They don't want to hear nothing else at this time, right? But I'm teaching them patience. It's a love-hate relationship that we have sometimes. I'm teaching them patience. So let's go into this, Uncle Tilly. Let's go into this. Yesterday, we saw a town hall meeting by the current administration, the Prime Minister, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, and he outlined a number of inconsistencies as it relates to the financial handling, or as he called it, alleged mismanagement of finances in the former administration. You got a chance to see it. What was your initial reaction, Uncle Tilly?
Well, my initial reaction was that of a breakdown of governance in Grenada, and a disregard for the trusteeship aspect of government. In the Parliament of Grenada, you become a trustee of another trustee. You ought to act on behalf, protecting the people's interest, reflecting the values, aims, and aspirations of the people. I heard Prime Minister Mitchell spoke last night. The diversion of money into the constituency of the New National Party. I got the impression that functioning not as a government, but like a rogue organization.
Wow.
It's only a rogue organization. You ought to recognize the trusteeship aspect position in government. And if you do not respect that, then you're not fit. And they are collectively responsible for that because no one came out, nobody heard about it before.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really in a serious on our record as a democratic society.
Right. Okay, first I want to play back the first damning allegation, the first item that the Prime Minister spoke about, Uncle Tilly, and you could give me a reaction on it. Now, we spoke about this before as it relates to the faith organization. You guys heard about it before, but the last time I spoke about it, we spoke about a subvention of about $1.something million. Yesterday we heard it was much more than we expected. It was over $6 million. This is the Prime Minister yesterday in the town hall meeting speaking about the faith organization.
Well, the name changed, so I will give you the original name and the current name. We encountered an organization called Faith Organization for People's Development, Inc. Now, the organization is incorporated under the Companies Act as a not-for-profit company. In 2 years, between 2020 and July of 2022, this company was paid $6.8 million by the government of Grenada. Now, in addition to that, the then Cabinet of Grenada passed the Cabinet resolution handing over 3 community centers located in St. Andrews Southeast to that same organization. Community centers meant for the community, meant for use of the people, was handed over to this company, to this not-for-profit company. No. If you're a not-for-profit company, and if you can convince the government of Grenada in 2 years to give you $6.8 million, what are you providing to the people of Grenada? And how miraculously the only client you have is the government of Grenada. So what were the services they were providing? Apparently, sanitization services. Spraying children's hands when they come to school. Maybe wiping countertop or chair or whatever, I don't know. But in 2 years, they racked up $3 million in revenues. Not-for-profit companies are required to file financial statements at the company's registry. No financial statements have been filed for 2021, and I doubt any will be filed for 2022. But let's dig a little deeper. Last time I checked, the government of Grenada, sometime in February of 2022, dropped all protocols in relation to COVID-19. There was no mask wearing, there was no social distancing, there was no sanitization, there was no insistence on anybody spraying anything. So explain to me between February and July, elections were in June, and July, what services could you possibly have been providing when it comes to sanitization and so on?
All right, so that was the Prime Minister of Grenada talking about the faith organization. Uncle Tilly, we have you on WhatsApp now because we had the audio giving us a little bit of a issue. So just to make sure that we're hearing you better, we pull you over on WhatsApp. What's your take? What's your feedback on hearing the news that the faith organization, within 2 years, that organization was paid over $6 million and the government being the only client of that organization? What's your take?
Well, first, there is no need really for a company to be established to conduct such activities. Government has a ministry. The government could set up a structure And there should be transparency in the whole exercise. There was no need for a company to be established to do that. It is a means to set up it seems to abuse, state resources. This is really, something that all Grenadians should be aware of. You have ministries there to carry out the business of government. If government wants to set up a statutory body, but to set up a company and you're channeling state resources into that company is not something that is, expected in a free, democratic, and a society that cares about the people and managing the resources for the benefit of the people. That is a total mismanagement of the resources of the country. And there was no need for such a company to be set up, especially, I believe this company was set up for party supporters to exploit the resources of the country. And we have to be realistic about that. And this is something that should never happen in our country. So I think it should be properly investigated. And if there are those who are involved in wrongdoing, they should be called upon to account. Because lots of money from the state went into this organization. But you talk to the people who work with that organization and they tell you what they were getting, small sums. So somebody, somewhere along the line, people were pocketing substantial amount of monies. So it is something I think that needs to be investigated, and if necessary, to institute whatever legal proceedings to bring those involved to justice. We should not just sit down and accept people abusing state resources and getting away with it. There is need for transparency in the whole process.
Uncle Tilly, who was then should have been responsible to investigate that type of organization and alleged fraudulent activities? Shouldn't the FIU or shouldn't there be some government agencies that should have caught that, independent government agency?
The FIU is the most appropriate one to look into something like this. The police could investigate it, but the FIU, I think, is the appropriate institution or appropriate body to investigate such financial irregularities.
Right. So that evidently didn't happen. So is it that the FIU dropped the ball, or the government was somehow able to circumvent the system in a way that it didn't show up on the FIU, or was it just completely ignored by the agency that's supposed to see things like that?
You see, I want us to be realistic that under the new National Party with Dr. Mitchell made it clear that he only wants people loyal to him in positions from the top to the bottom. Remember what he said about former Commissioner Thompson? He couldn't work with him. So you see, most of the people in positions under Dr. Mitchell, they are NNP loyalists or activists, and that is a problem for Grenada. And this is where all these things are happening. You see, and this is a danger to our political system. People, do not stand up for integrity and morality and decency. All of them want to eat their food once they could get something from, the authorities, and they go along. And that is the danger we face with. So a lot of our institutions have been compromised. Even the Office of the Governor General, you heard about the recent judgment. In terms of the former supervisor of elections. So you see, and everybody who associated with that administration, they've been tainted, whether they want to accept it or not. And it's a danger to our society, which we have to really get rid of. We need people of integrity to stand up and take a position, regardless of what the leader feels or what the leader wants. But as he himself said, if you're not towing his line, you can't be commissioner of police, you can't be head of this, you can't be head of that. Mm-hmm. You have to be following him. And this is why we don't drain today. Of course, I must commend Prime Minister Tillman Mitchell for being sincere and honest with the Grenadian people and letting them know exactly what was taking place and we have to take steps, to introduce corrective measures to bring about dignified governance in Grenada.
Yeah. Guys, we're chatting here with former Prime Minister Tillman Thomas, and we're talking about some of the shocking events of yesterday, what transpired. One of the first thing that we spoke about, what we learned yesterday, that the faith organization, which is alleged to be masquerading as a non-for-profit organization, that's the allegation, and been obtaining so much money from government. It was reported yesterday that this said faith organization received over $6.8 million in 2 years. And the services that they was providing was basic, not basic, I guess it was somehow said to be needed at the time. Services of, people, sanitization work and this type of work. And what was also shocking about this is even after the election, there are still people that worked for faith that still did not get paid and is now expecting the government to pay them. But the government stated that they're not going to pay, and they believe that faith organization is responsible to pay its workers. We at Ride Along got a number of calls from individuals who are asking the same questions, like what about my pay? What about the money I work for, the services that I provide? And they have not yet gotten paid. Mr. Thomas, who is responsible to pay those workers if they provide?
Those workers were working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those workers were working with a company, or a company is an entity unto its own.
Right.
Because these people are not employed by the government of Grenada. The company had an obligation to pay these people. But again, it shows you how our system has been manipulated to rip off the state of Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we have to learn from this, because a company is a legal entity unto itself, and a company enter into an employment agreement with individuals, and the company is under obligation to pay those individuals, not the government of Grenada.
Yeah. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm hearing you. I want to play back.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Uncle Tilly.
Yeah, I'm saying, not the government of Grenada. The government of Grenada did not employ these people. A company has a board of directors. The board of directors meet and they take decisions, and they ought to be responsible for the decisions that they took. So it is not fair, and it's not right to bring the government involved in this thing that the government should pay them. The company has that obligation, and they must let the public know who are the directors of that company. The board of directors, who are the members? Who is the managing director? What are the aims and objectives of that company? And a company is supposed to provide annual returns. Mm-hmm. All these things have to be investigated.
Yeah. Uncle Tilly, where does the investigation on this matter, there are several, but on this particular matter, where should the investigation start?
Again, both the FIU and the police. It is, I would say, an offense against the state of Grenada. The police ought to investigate. The DPP should be given some guidance and direction on these things. But the FIU, who is mainly responsible for financial wrongdoings, should be really spearheading that investigation and passing on information to the relevant authorities, so that action could be taken if it becomes necessary.
Right. And what are some of the charges? What are some of the implications? What are some of the charges that we look at? I know you're a lawyer. You're very versed with the law. Based on what you learned, based on what you learned yesterday from the information, what are the possible charges that could be implicated on this company and what was done?
Well, essentially, it's fraud, but fraud covers a wide range of financial wrongdoing. Fraud is the term that is most likely to be used.
Right. Yeah, because I remember I was watching an interview from Carriacou, and then Ron Redhead made mention. He preempted actually what the Prime Minister said yesterday, and he went on to say as far as to say that some people might make a jail, some people could make a jail. Is your thinking that what the information you learn about faith specifically, that it could be something that people could possibly be incarcerated for, from the information that we learned?
Well, you see, we don't have all the detailed information. You see, another institution or authority that could really help in that case, Junior, is the audit department. There's an audit department in the government of Grenada, and the audit department is supposed to audit all government departments. So the audit department should be getting at the faith-based organization and other organizations that are connected with government, the ministry and the government and the company. The audit department, I believe, has a very important role to play in that respect, because that is the role that's what the audit department was established for.
So where was the audit department all the time? Where was the audit department all the time? And where's the audit department now?
It's there. The audit department is always there. Auditing, the audit department did several audits. I mean, if you could recall, years ago, the audit department did a report on the chicken farm. The report is documented. People have copies saying, So the audit department has been reporting on some of these things. So I think they ought to be doing something now with that faith-based organization, just as it did with the chicken farm. Broilers Incorporated was the company, and there is a audit report on that. And there are several audit reports on mismanagement of funds. So the audit department has a key role to play in trying to bring justice to the people of Grenada.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we should expect some information about that from the audit department or the FIU as it relates to this particular item. But there was more issues that was raised. Let's take a look at this. One of the second issue that was raised yesterday by the Prime Minister. Listening.
A gentleman of Polish origin applied apparently to be made ambassador at large on behalf of the citizens of Grenada. That gentleman was told, and it appears that the then cabinet, agreed to appoint the gentleman as ambassador at large. He was told that in order to do so, he needed to pay US $290,000 to the state of Grenada. $150,000 US was paid to the state of Grenada, and there's a treasury receipt for it. Another $140,000 US was paid to the New National Party South St. George office. Let me repeat that. $140,000 US was paid, and this is in June of 2022, right before the elections. $140,000 US paid to the New National Party South St. George office. We have the records. So since the cabinet conclusion said it was $290,000 US to the state of Grenada, last time I checked, the Constitution does not establish the New National Party South St. George office as part of the state of Grenada. So my free advice now is that the New National Party South St. George office, or the New National Party for that matter, should kindly hand over to the state of Grenada. The $140,000 US that magically found its way into your bank account. Now, I don't know who advised the Polish gentleman, but as a good colleague of mine said, this must have been Wagiti Bingo. And you clearly gambled and lost. The gentleman has been asking back for his money. The state of Grenada has no intention of paying back any money to anybody. But I also want to point out and give some free advice to the South St. George branch of the New National Party that you might have to pay back the man his money. But that is free advice. You could take it or leave it.
So, Uncle Tilly, that was another one of the shocking piece of information that was put out there yesterday. What's your reaction on this? This looks like corruption in foreign affairs. What's your take on this?
This is real, corruption, real corruption. What in the damage that has been done to the image of Grenada. This is our highest mark of identity, our passport. And here you are selling our passport. I know there's a CBI program, but that program ought to have a system of where you go through due diligence, where you investigate the background of people and you go through a process and make sure that, someone credible is going to become a citizen of a country, not because one has money, you're selling a passport. So right there, they have done substantial damage to the image of our country. Secondly, you cannot divert state resources into your private organization. That in itself is theft. And you don't ask people to when somebody is accused of theft, you prosecute them. You see, I want to believe that there ought to be something, there could be a way of prosecuting somebody for this, because the money was diverted into an organization that is not part of the state of Grenada.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, again, I'm saying that those who were elected to be trustees of Grenada turn out to be conspirators against the Grenadian people. And these are the people who are talking about trusted hands. Just imagine, just reflect on it. These are the people who went out campaigning, talking about trusted hands. These conspirators against the Grenadian people, diverting the resources of the country from the treasury into the private organization. So this is a very serious issue. I say it's tarnished the image of Grenada. It shows some people involved in theft from what has been revealed, and they should be called upon to answer. Why did you divert the resources that belong to the people of Grenada into an organization that is not part of the state of Grenada?
Right. So Uncle Till, let me ask you a quick question here. Don't lose your train of thought, though. So if a person, say in this case, someone from Poland, wanted to become an ambassador, what's supposed to be the regular channel in how they obtain citizenship? What's supposed to be the natural and normal channel? Because it is a legal framework. He could have obtained a passport, and that happens all the time. But
there's a procedure.
Yeah.
There are procedures, and there are people involved in that process. I've never been involved in it, but there's a process where an application is made, a due diligence is being conducted. The person's supposed to invest in a project in Grenada. There are certain standards that have been established. There are several criteria that is established when someone applies to become a citizen of Grenada. They comply with these things, and then it is being approved. But this one seemed to be just like a sale. You want some money, and you're selling our identity to profit from it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the ugly thing about it.
Right. And the beneficiary then being not the people of Grenada, but instead the political organization, which seems, it's referred to the political organization of the St. George South, which could be looked at as finance campaign money that is funneled
It
towards his
appears-
campaign.
That is it's been perceived that way, but that is what it's been perceived as.
Yeah. Again, these are allegations, and whenever there are allegations, there are always opportunities for individuals to respond. And the allegations was posted on the St. George South, which then candidate Nolan Cox, he responded today. This was his response. Take a listen.
Response from a personal level or from a party level to the accusation that had been thrown out there by the Honorable Prime Minister during that town hall meeting last evening.
Okay. Thank you very much, GT, for raising that. And I think it's probably important that I put things into context before I respond directly. Initially, I plan to come onto this program. I think coincidentally, the town hall meeting took place last night, and this matter come about. And obviously, one would definitely want to point to look at the time of what the Prime Minister is indicating when such transaction took place is what in the heart of elections. And as the candidate who ran in the South for the National Party, I think it is important, and I'm happy that this matter was raised. Because you see, one of the things that I know, sometimes it's better to know what is being said about you openly than behind your back. So at least you can defend yourself. I think that is most critical. But not so much for myself, but more so for the people who worked with me, the staff, the people who supported me in the elections. I must say thank you to them for believing in what I was proposing and believing who I am and my values, my expertise and experience, and what I was able to do with their support. I think it's important that I respond more so for them in defense of them than anything else. So it's within that context I am responding. As it relates to what was said, I can clearly state that our campaign, which we were unsuccessful, in no way, our records show that we have not received any direct funding from any foreign donor. All our support were from ordinary persons, local businesses, and even former parliamentary reps who supported for the South Central, who support our campaign. So that is the fact, and I want to repeat again that my campaign and my staff, we have not received or been in contact with any individual. I don't know what nationality, I can't remember what was mentioned. We have not been in any contact and with anybody via email, phone call, anything of that sort for any financial support to my campaign.
Right. Uncle Tilly, I guess this is very simple and easy information to source and get to the bottom of. What's your take on the response from Nolan Cox?
Well, again, you have to look at the history and know about the activities of the New National Party. The New National Party is it's not a genuine democratic organization. I'm saying this to say that the South may be used as a means of channeling the money, but there are others who is controlling and manipulating that money. Nolan Cox could just be a victim, for all you know, knowing the kind of characters that are in the New National Party. That's a possibility. They may see him as they use that area. And sometimes he may, as I said, he probably didn't have access to the money. But there are those within that rogue organization who controlling that money. So, I mean, you have to know about the history of that organization and what it has been doing to the people of Grenada.
So Uncle Tilly, you're saying it's possible that Nolan Cox is telling the truth, that he knows nothing about the monies, the $140,000 that was written, as the Prime Minister said, that he had receipts, that his monies was written to the South St. George campaign. So he could just be a victim, as you're saying.
He could be a victim. That's a possibility. Because of the nature of that organization. That is a kind of devilish organization. You know, you have to know what this organization has been doing to our people, you know, for years, not now. I mean, and there's several. I mean, Kem Jones has outlined a litany of them in his program, you know, how they put money that should be going to the people of Grenada. So it's a possibility Nolan Cox will be a victim.
Because I'm thinking, Uncle Tilly, this is an easy investigation. For one, you have a check, and the check has to go to a bank, and there will be a track record. You follow the money. Money situation is easy to investigate. Follow the money. Right? So if he's saying that he don't know anything about this, the Prime Minister saying that he have receipt $150,000, and they have the receipts from the Treasury, and that other $140,000 was written to the campaign. Obviously, the money was written. They could pull up the check. They could provide the check. They could see that the money cleared the check. It's not like you're passing cash and you're passing a suitcase. It's a check. So it's easy to investigate, I would think.
Yeah, very easy to investigate. I mean, they could do a trail of the check, the account. The St. George's must have an account. You know, somebody could find out who deposited the money, who withdrew the money. It's not a difficult thing to follow.
Right. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Now, on the question of, you spoke about this earlier, and I did a vlog on it, which I'm very concerned, the image of the country, right? Because I'm thinking now that other countries getting wind of this. For instance, I remember when we had visa-free access to Canada, people could have just buy a ticket and go to Canada. We lost that access. Now you have to get a visa to go to Canada. Grenada has a very good reputation to travel to places like England and some other places that we take for granted. People in Jamaica don't have that. I mean, they have to get a visa to go to England. Could that create an additional problem for the citizens of Grenada, knowing that people know the system basically was circumvented? They don't know who have Grenadian passport. It could be criminal elements in Russia, for instance, or other places. Isn't that another major concern?
Yeah, that is a concern. And based on the history of how we were treated by Canada, is because of the manner in which passports were being sold to people who didn't even speak English. The Canadian authorities became concerned and make it difficult for us. So based on that, other countries now might be looking at what's happening now, how they're selling passports in Grenada, and try to make life difficult for us. Again, and that is the danger when you have people without integrity and people who are not patriotic at the head of your government. That's a dangerous thing, because the citizens are the one who are now being deprived, and life becomes difficult for the citizens of the country, because the leadership of the day really never embraced the values and aims and aspirations of the people. All they're concerned about is money, using the position and the office for personal gains. And that is a danger.
Yeah. Guys, we're chatting here with former Prime Minister Tillman Thomas, and we're talking about the bombshell of information that was dropped yesterday during the town hall meeting. Now, I know you guys have a lot to say. We're going to give you an opportunity to call, but we can't call on this phone right now because Uncle Tilly is on the WhatsApp. But we're going to give you guys an opportunity to call and voice your opinion and put your voice on record on this. Uncle Tilly, another one I want to play back, because this one was as bad as the two and possibly even worse. You've been the Prime Minister. You've seen, you know how the process works. Listen to this.
Under our democracy, there are three arms to the state: the Parliament, the Executive, and the Judiciary. We all ask, when we run for elections, to be elected to Parliament. Parliament is an equal arm of the state, just like the Cabinet of Ministers. Parliament has to have its own budget, and the parliamentary offices have to be resourced from the parliamentary budget. The NNP administration, since 2016, took the vote that was allocated for Parliament, placed it in the Prime Minister's office, and ran the parliamentary offices out of the Prime Minister's office. And the Prime Minister, now the leader of the opposition, admitted that the Prime Minister's office had no capacity, and it should never have, because that's not its job, to run or administer the offices of the members of Parliament. And so what did he do? He contracted out those services to a private company called CJ's Managerial Services. And just so you understand that this isn't some joke, between 2016 and 2022, CJ's Managerial Services was paid over $13 million.
Yeah, so CJ's Managerial Company was paid over $13 million to provide the service. Prime Minister, you've been there before. You know how this whole thing works. Where was the breakdown?
Well, I regard this as an assault on our parliamentary system. It's an attempt to, in my view, to sabotage our parliamentary institutions. When I heard this thing, the first thing that came to my mind, I thought of the late Kurt Strawn, who was a clerk of parliament for years. And this man guarded that institution well, very proud of it. Mm-hmm. And that man would be turning in his grave to know that, the role that he was playing has been contracted out to someone to provide services for Parliament. Now, this is really, I can't see how a leader could conceive this thing. If you start that trend, just now he would be, if he was in office, maybe there was no need for election for representatives. They're going to contract representatives. How could you, an institution that is so vital and important for the functioning of democracy, for providing supplies to the elected members of Parliament, why you want to bring it into your office and contract it to your political lackeys and so on? These are the things people ought to be taking a strong stand on. And again, Junior, I find the other institutions and NGOs and so on in the society, they remain quiet while all these things was happening. Mm-hmm. Why they remain? You see an assault on our democratic system. You see, based on our history and how we suffered in the absence of democracy, why would you aid and abet someone who is undermining our democratic institution? And the amount of money that the clerk of parliament has a responsibility. He's the one who should be doing this, and he's in contact, in a relationship with the parliamentarians and assisting them and providing the necessary supplies for them. You don't have to contract it out. Why? Again, this is really something that should never happen. But again, as I say, collectively, all those who were elected in parliament. Of course, Tobias did make a protest at one time. Mm-hmm. I could recall Tobias was complaining about that. But all these people who were elected by the people going to sit down there and permit this thing to happen. Why did the people elect you?
Right.
The people elected to stand up right and defend the interests of the country and the institutions. But they have failed the people. You know, they let one man manipulate the whole thing and discredit all of them. Because I mean, I showed the public all of them has been discredited now. You didn't stand up and defend our democratic institution. You didn't stand up to protect the resources of the country. You let our money being diverted here and there, and you said nothing about it. And you want to claim yourself to be a representative of the people. You know, no, this is this one is really a sad day for Grenada. And as I said, a man who really guarded that office, the top of Parliament, was the late Kurt Strawn. And I know, I mean, how in his time, if he was around, what he would be saying about this today. So we have had a lot. And again, I must commend the Prime Minister, you know, the way he set it out. I mean, I think he's quite on target with, you know, the different branches of government and the role that the clerk has to play. I mean, you know, you can't just go contracting. Well, I mean, as I say, they may want to contract MPs too. If they don't run for office again, you can give somebody a contract to be an MP. The way this country was being run.
But Uncle Tilly, is there any, or could we think about any good reason or any valuable reason why the Prime Minister may think that might be a good idea? Is there any reason whatsoever? I'm scanning through. You've been through the ropes of it. Is there any good idea that could come out of this?
There's no good idea. It is just knowing. You have to know the new National Party and what it stands for. It's just to extract money, to provide opportunities for those who support them. You know, to give a supporter or a friend a contract. At the end of the day, you know, they get money. That's all. They don't think about the country and the efficient administration of the parliamentary process. You know, it is, you know, doling out, monies to our people, you know, by whatever means. And that is the danger that we always face with that political party. I've been around, from 84. And I could tell you, you know, from the early 80s, I have been speaking out against these things. Very early, I saw the trend in that organization and how things were being used. It's not for the welfare of the people. It's not promoting morality, decency, and honesty. It's trying to rip off the state and to enrich those who want to hold on to the coattail of certain leaders.
Yeah. Guys, I know you're watching and you are overwhelmed already with all the information that was put out, but there's more. We have one more that I want to touch on, Uncle Tilly, and I'm happy that you're here to bring all of this into perspective for us. But this next one I want to touch on, it has to do with projects. It has to do with a surplus of projects, a number of projects that was issued out. Take a listen to this one.
But I want to demonstrate to you the kind of wastage that occurs and whether we get value for money. In the parish of St. George, only the parish of St. George only, 328 concrete construction contracts were issued for the parish alone of St. George. And the total value of those contracts was over $34 million. So let me repeat. 328 contracts were issued, construction, concrete, drains, pavements, for the parish of St. George only, to a value of over $34 million. Now, citizens of Grenada, particularly those of you who live in St. George, I want you to walk around St. George, drive around St. George, and show me where the $34 million is in improvement to your infrastructure.
A lot of projects on the leading up to the election. Your take on that?
But again, this is, in my view, I see that purely political. It seems to be an attempt to, again, enrich those loyal to the NNP, provide contracts for them so that they provide employment for their supporters and to get them to come out and vote on election day. But again, it's an abuse of the resources of the country and without any form of accountability, as Prime Minister Tillman Thomas pointed out. I mean, could you identify this 328 contract? Could you identify projects that were done or completed during that period? You know, it doesn't seem so. So again, it seems to be more political. And in a sense, it is not evenly distributed. Why would you invest so much in the St. George's area, whereas you have rural parishes with high unemployment, where people need the assistance, and you didn't balance it at all. You know, you put all of it in St. George's, and very little for the other parishes. So it seems to be more political that some of the constituencies in St. George's, they appear to be competitive. So I guess NNP wanted to make sure that they control St. George's, so they will invest. Money is a thing. I mean, they reject things as values and morality and decency. They feel everybody at the price, so they go buy votes, and that seems to be the trend that they took.
Wow. I mean, as we said, that the tune of over $50 million have been, well, the Prime Minister say is wastage. That's what he called it. Nolan Cox today on the program said, and he defended the position, and he said that there are a lot of projects that was done that was value for money for the people that received those projects, right? In defending that, I'm going to put the link over to his full response from the program on GBN this morning. So he's saying that the project that was done in St. George's, for the people that received it, and they are, he called out a few of them that in fact was, that was actually completed. The question that I have for that, in the Prime Minister asking a laid person to walk around St. George and look and see if you see any projects, I mean, does that make any, could one person go and actually say, okay, well, this should be valued more, this was done, and does that, would that be beneficial, or would that solve any purpose for a laid person to go wrong? That wouldn't make any sense to me.
That wouldn't be practical. I mean, the Ministry of Works should have a list of the projects that were identified to be done at that time, and someone could go through that list in the ministry and visit the areas with those who are competent and capable to do an assessment. From that standpoint, it could be done, because there must be a record in the ministry of all the projects that were identified for that period, and there are capable and competent people in the ministry who could visit the respective areas and do an assessment.
Yeah. Uncle Tilly, I got to thank you for joining us to give us that perspective. I really want to open up the phone lines to get some of the viewers called in and respond to this. But one last thing I want to find out from you. Back in 2008, when you were elected Prime Minister, there was a campaign. The campaign was about the briefcase, and the part of your administration campaign about finding out more about the briefcase scenario, and folks are saying that a lot of the energy and political capital was spent within that time, and after you got into power, we heard nothing much about the briefcase situation. Do you think that this government should use its political capital and time to investigate this past administration rather than to go forward with the transformative agenda?
Well, no, you have to try and report. You have to investigate. I mean, those issues that the present administration faced with, it's not as difficult to investigate as the briefcase. We had set out to investigate, to prosecute them for the briefcase. We hired one named Lindquist. Investigation was done. Officials from Grenada went up to the United States, obtained information, but we couldn't get relevant persons to come to the court. We didn't just give up. We did investigate, and we hired experts to assist us, you know. But this time around, it is most of the allegations are within Grenada. I mean, it's not difficult to obtain evidence and to get people to come to court if it becomes necessary. But I say you have to strike a balancing act. The agenda has to go forward, but at the same time, you have to bring justice to the people of this country. Those who have violated the law, those who have exploited the resources, those who have abused their position should be held accountable.
Yeah. And I called earlier today in a video that I did, and I called for an independent investigation, an independent group of non-partisan to come together and do that independent investigation. How do you think it's the best way to go about it? And would you endorse having a separate investigative body go through and find information on these items? How do you best think that the investigation should proceed?
Well, there is a strong view on that, getting a special prosecutor. As a matter of fact, the Prime Minister, Dick Mitchell, mentioned last night that a law was passed in our neighboring country, in St. Lucia, to set up a special prosecuting agency to deal with this type of corruption. And he did mention that he'll try and see a copy of it. So it is something that is, you know, people are thinking about already, and it is something that could be realized to take away the DPP has so much to do within the normal course of things. It might be better to get a special prosecutor with a team of people with him to really do the necessary investigation and bring those who are involved in wrongdoing to justice.
Yeah, and we'll endorse a separate and bipartisan, because the situation as it is now is already polarized and it's politicized, that one half of the country would always say that they would never listen to anything that the NDC said because they are investigating their opponent, and they're not going to, of course, pinpoint all the good. They're going to look for the bad. That's what people would think, so they wouldn't listen. So by having a independent body, I think that at least when they present the case, they have no chicken in the race, they have no horse in the race, and at least it would be something that people could see that is bipartisan or is not any favoritism to anyone. So I think that definitely we'll endorse a private and separate investigative body to do that. Uncle Tilly, thank you so much.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
No, I was saying, when you're investigating, is wrongdoing you're looking for? I mean, you are elected or you are placed in a position to do what is right.
Yes.
So nobody had to go and investigate. You investigating wrongdoing.
Yes.
And nothing wrong with that. You have to investigate wrongdoing.
Yes. I agree. Uncle Tilly, any last word you want to leave with before we wrap up and take some phone calls?
Well, I mean, I just want to appeal to our people, wherever you are in the diaspora, to be aware of what is happening and to give whatever support you could to enhancing and promoting our democracy, and to bring an end to this type of exploitation of the resources of our country by those who were elected to represent. I mean, we ought to be genuine trustees of the people, but it turned out now that lots of us ended up not as trustees, but as conspirators, conspire to exploit and deprive the people of the country. So we need to be conscious of this and to, bring new people forward to stand up for what is right and take a stand for the benefit of our country.
Thank you, Uncle Tilly. We're going to keep in touch. And guys, yes, we need a non-partisan, not a bipartisan. Thank you so much for the correction. I appreciate it. Uncle Tilly will keep in touch, right?
Okay, thank you. Take care.
All right. All right, guys, let's open up the phone lines right now to get your views on everything that we spoke about here today. Open up the phone line. The phone number that you could call right now is 718-701-5720. That's 718-701-5720. Number up on the screen. I know you guys have a lot to say, a lot to talk about. Let's hear from you right now. 718-701-5720. Your chance to call in, your chance to put your voice on record about what you heard, what you've been reading, what you've been watching, just your general sense of everything from yesterday's town hall meeting. 718-701-5720. That is your chance to speak. Again, guys, if you're calling on WhatsApp, you could call directly on WhatsApp, or you could call straight. If you're calling from outside of the country, you could just add us to WhatsApp and call from there. It's no cost if you're calling us on WhatsApp, of course. All right, 718-701-5720. I see a lot of you guys typing in the chat, but we want you guys to call. All right. In fact, while we're waiting on the call, let's jump to our first commercial break here, and we'll be right back. We'll move.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.
All right, so we got a caller on the line. Caller, you live? Where are you calling us from? Hello?
Yes, hello, good night. Junior, I'm calling from Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York.
Go right ahead, caller.
Yes, everything that Uncle Tillman said was on point, absolutely. And what you said about a non-partisan individual or persons coming to investigate the source and the depth and the corruption that's been going on, it's a very good idea. And because we don't want people to be siding here and there, so we want a concrete investigation to find out. And, we have to follow the money, you understand? Yes. Because what I'm trying to say, so what does so why would the Prime Minister said that he has a receipt? He would not just come out and just just spew things or say things that where there is not evidence. Because to me, this young Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, he researched it. I mean, somebody would just come out and said, it had people like that would say a thing. But just listening to him, the corruption with the amount of money and in the faith organization. Come on. This in this day and age, and with the unions and them who was not, willing to come and take a stand with him and say, hey, let's get this issue done. Because what is the reason for the receipt? So the receipt, because you see, this is why you have something called evidence. You're not just, because when you go to court, you have to have evidence. You just cannot go there with your empty hand. You want to go there to prove your case. You want to know, hey, if I can prove my case, that I'm going to get the substantial help in the court. Now, what you said about a passport, I have two things. I'll be finishing a while. What you said about a passport, this will compromise our passport in Grenada. Around the world when we travel, and this is serious. This is serious. That is serious. People look at it like, oh, it's a joke. It will compromise the passport, as you say. In England, we don't need a visa to go there. Yes. Look, Canada, before we didn't have to go to Canada. We didn't have to get visa. But you see, when you see things happening in government and corruption and all these things, you know what? That set us back, and it set back citizens, people who want to travel and all these things. And they have to look in the deeper part of this whole thing. And lastly, I'm not saying Nolan Cox was in it. I don't know him personally. He's a former senator, but to me it's like, I don't think he knows what was going on. But if he do know what was going on, that's my perspective on things. Mm-hmm. If he do knows what's going on, Nolan Cox had to be careful. Lying is perjury. And if he know he lied, remember, when you go to the parliament and you take the oath, remember, they're looking at it. You know, people think it's a thing. I'm not saying he's lying.
Well, it's perjury if he does it. It's perjury if he does it on the oath. I mean, if he's on the media talking about it, it's not perjury. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, because to me, it's like, come on, you've been with the NNP party for all these years. I mean, come on. I mean, no one is not, brainless. I mean, something is not adding up. But I hope they find truth to it, and I want a independent, as you say, somebody, an independent person to look deeper into that. Something is fishy. It's not smelling good, But they said what's in the dark always come to light. So I hope they get to the bottom of this whole corruption, this whole mess. But I want people to tune in and to look at what is going on, because it's like every day you wake up, something's coming out. It's just like it's like the Fast and the Furious. Everything is just coming out. But we just have to wait, hold our breath, and see what's going to be the next chapter. Anyway, have a good evening, Junior. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much. Again, 718-701-5720, guys. We're talking about this and opening up the phone lines, giving you an opportunity to speak and talk your mind. Tell us what your feelings are about the information that you heard yesterday. We got another call on the line. Caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
Hi, good night, Junior. How you doing, man?
Good.
It's been a while, man. Dwight Thompson here.
Yes, my boy. How you doing?
Yeah. Boy, I'm good, boy. I listened to the town hall meeting as I've been following keenly to what's happening at home. And I listened to the program tonight to some great extent. I want to agree with former Prime Minister Tillman Thomas. In a sense to say that probably Nolan Cox didn't even know what happened. That money probably was paid into their account and shipped out as fast as it went in.
Right.
And was used elsewhere. I mean, we only could assume and you say allegedly. But I think we're missing the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that this is corruption at the height. And this is selling of state resources for political gain. Mm-hmm. And somebody has to be accountable to the state, to the people who elect them into governance for what has happened. And I mean, the Prime Minister only gave us 2 or 3 instances. Mm-hmm. We had 22 years of this government, and the question is how much more of this that we don't know about, or probably will never know about. How much more wanton spending? $34 million spending. I mean, come on now. We have a failed healthcare system. We have nurses leaving rampantly. Teachers marched, cried, and begged for pay increases and stuff, and was basically told no. $34 million of 60 million that we need to retroactive pension. But this was given to contracted people, and allegedly, I cannot say because I'm not in Grenada.
Right.
Nobody could see where the money is gone. And I mean, I want the Grenadian people to really, really think and listen and open your eyes. These are the people that we have entrusted with the governance of our country for 20 odd years, and they have gone about raping the treasury up and down and using money for whatever. I mean, look at the faith organization, and I see people have been pointing fingers again and saying, well, there's a particular representative, particular ministry, or the particular person. And I ain't going to go that far. I'm just going to ask the question. Who are we holding accountable?
Somebody said, okay, if you're looking at it, you have to look at it from both sides. They said that if you're saying that they are raping the treasury up and down, but then the Prime Minister, when he came in, he even said it himself that he identified there was a lot of money. He didn't say it in the exact words, but there were money in the treasury. They inherited a good sum of money in the treasury. Which might mean that some of the things that they probably was doing was fruitful.
One of the things that we know about this past administration. Two things about this past administration. Wanton corruption, and they don't like to spend money. We've seen this over and over. Victor Antoine died fighting for teachers back in 1999, I believe. Died. And we have teachers have had this struggle successively from as far as I could remember, 1999, I was young. But they have had this struggle for payment, salary increases and stuff. And we have had, look, for example, there was money in the treasury, yet the government printery has been crying out for a number of years for the same complaint, leaking roof and things. The place is not worthy to be for workers to work in. Look at your house; it's still on cover since 2004 Hurricane Ivan. Look at Governor General residence right in Upper Local Street.
Right.
There are things to have been done, but this government neglected to do it, and instead hold on to the money in the treasury for whatever God knows reason, right? And maybe that's a good thing, because this administration, the NDC administration, can now come in and repair some of these issues. The thing about it is, I want to make this as my very last statement. Grenadians need to understand, and we need to pay close attention to this. It is going to take this government a very long time to sweep and mop up the mess that was left, because clearly the Prime Minister, and if you look at his mannerism, the Prime Minister was trying to hold back himself from saying a lot more things. A lot more could have been said. He pulled back himself, and he only gave us, because those particular areas, the faith organization, has been in the headlines for God knows how long, back and forth, right? And we know about the NNP and their track record when it comes to building. They believe, given construction work and devotion work and all of that, will get them back into power, because it's quick money. Work has always been quick money. So people would get a quick money and they would say, oh, well, I'll vote them in because you're getting money. But the last point, Junior, and I want to ask this question. The state organization has gotten over $6 million in 2 years. My question is, why wasn't the Imani program that they have closed over the years? Why was it these workers paid through the Imani program? Why we create a whole separate entity as the government as the main and only client and get all this money? There is much more to the space organization story than what meets the eyes. And in Grenada, we don't have, let me not say this because I do respect my colleagues in the media in Grenada, but I'm calling on them to do much more investigation, because clearly there's all that meets the eye when it comes to this organization. And I'm beginning to think this amount of money is only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
It's only the tip of the iceberg.
A lot of people.
But Junior, I'll leave it there for now.
Yeah. Thank you, my brother. Thanks for watching.
Go ahead.
Thanks for sharing and being a part of this. I have a program coming up in a couple of weeks. I'll call you about it so you could chat, all right? But thanks again.
No problem, man. I'm always here, bro. Blessings.
I appreciate it. Again, guys, 718-701-5720. Your opportunity to chime in on what you heard today. Your opportunity to chime in on what you heard yesterday. And just talk to us. 718, your opportunity, guys, to chime in. 718-701-5720. Call on the WhatsApp. Guys. Call on the WhatsApp. You won't get charged if you call in out of state, out of country. If you call in locally, you could call directly on the phone lines, but the number that you call is 718-701-5720. 718-701-5720.
Money. In the parish of St. George.
All right, we got another call.
Only.
All right, caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
All right.
Hello, caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
I am calling you from United States.
Go right ahead.
Junior.
Go right ahead, caller.
Nobody in Grenada should be surprised as to what is going on.
Right.
We know there's been a lot of that taking place for a lot of years. So what the present Prime Minister has to do, he has to start to dig it out from the top, dig out from the root right up to the top, because it's been going on, and it's time for this nonsense to end. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, caller. Thank you for calling. 718-701-5720, guys. Put your voice on record. Let us know what you think about what you heard from the Prime Minister yesterday and all the things that was outlined. 718-701-5720. You could call directly on the WhatsApp or you could call on the phone lines. Your chance to call in, guys. Your chance to chime in, giving you opportunity to put your voice on. Let us know what your thoughts are. What was your reaction? And what do you think about some of the things that we spoke about today? And one of the things I know a lot of people are talking about is that the Cox interview today on GBN and his response. Let us know what you think about his response as well. I saw a few of you guys in the chat there, and a lot of people pretty much did not agree with a lot of the things that he was saying. Nevertheless, let's get your reaction on that as well. 718-701-5720.
Drains, pavements for the parish of St. George only, to a value of over $34 million. Now, citizens of Grenada, particularly those of you who live in St. George, I want you to walk around St. George, drive around St. George, and show me where the $34 million is in improvement to your infrastructure. But I want to demonstrate to you the kind of wastage that occurs and whether we get value for money.
Hey, caller, live, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Grenada.
Grenada, go right ahead.
Okay, so this is not really so much an alarming statement. It is very surprising though, but I am not so surprised at it. Yeah, because knowing the track record of the previous government, anything could have played out in this country. And the thing about it is that I'm happy that the Prime Minister now is making it known to the public as to what has been going on in the country for the past couple of years. Apart from that, Mr. Cox today tried to defend much of the things and call it allegations and lies and so. But Mr. Cox has to understand that he followed NMP. He ran as a candidate for the South St. George. He lost. People had some sort of respect for him then. But as of today, he has lost it big time. And I am not afraid to say, I am not a supporter of NMP, and I would never support nasty people. Have a good one.
Okay, caller. All right. Again, guys, giving you opportunity to speak, put your voice on. We're talking about the information that was released yesterday in the town hall meeting. I know that someone told me that was a big conversation piece on the road, especially the $140,000 that were alleged to be paid to the St. George South constituency for that campaign, during that campaign season. Those are allegations. Mr. Cox responded today, and that is also on the page. You guys could check it out. But I heard that there have been a lot of conversation about that on the buses, in interaction on the streets today. So people are paying attention. And if nothing else, guys, if nothing else, I am happy that people are paying attention. People are alert. People are active, and they are asking questions. They want to see better. They're paying attention, and that is what we need. Any government that have a silent population that doesn't ask questions, that's like basically a puppet to everything. On top of the fact that you may have governments that come in that don't even have an opposition. So you have a silent population and you have a null opposition. You are basically just a sheep. Yeah, you're basically a sheep. And people sometimes don't move on the best instincts. People, by the flesh, by human nature, people, I'm not saying that any person in particular, but people by nature would take. They would take until they take more, some more. Until sometimes they get caught, right? That is human nature. And there's a lot to learn from all of this stuff. There's a lot to learn. Having a government with zero opposition. And then what does that say about the ministers that was elected from the various constituency? No one stood up and said, well, listen now, I don't think that that's a good idea. I think that that might not be the best thing, because what happened if we lose? What happened if one day we were not re-elected back? We got another call on the line. Caller, you live? Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, I'm good. Turn your background down. It's kind of loud. It's real loud.
Yeah.
If you could turn it down, it's giving me a serious feedback. Hello?
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah. You see, we just quickly jump to conclusion, and when you hear his story on one side,
right,
everybody jump up and down, they make a stand noise, and eventually, in the end, it boils down to nothing like a briefcase issue. They jump past the halabudu, everybody they have this evidence, they have that evidence, they jump left, right, and center, up and down, and eventually it boils down to nothing. Your same partner, Kem Jones,
right,
making a stop up with the guy with Shell and Scott issue. We make nice with Shell and Scott, cell phone gates. And eventually, by the time they go hardly about cell phone gates with Shell and Scott now. So they only halabuling, jumping left, right, and center. And eventually, let's say both sides of the story, and eventually we're going to come to a conclusion. Thank you very much.
Yes. So, caller, are you saying that more need to be done to keep those stories alive?
Obviously. And then we have to hear on both sides, we both sides of the story, we listen on both sides, we get evidence, and we form our conclusion, and we know exactly what happened. But most of the politicians is not saying anything possible, in my opinion. The politicians, and they are jumping low, running left of them, so they're in one side of the story, and eventually by nothing. So let's stop doing eventually. Time will tell, and eventually. Thank you very kindly.
Yeah, I wasn't able to hear everything that you were saying. It was kind of muffled there, so it wasn't too clear in my ear. All right, caller. So yeah, it wasn't too clear in my ear. I didn't hear everything that he said. I wasn't clear on what the caller was saying. It was kind of muffled in my ear, right? I don't know if you guys heard it clearly, but I certainly didn't. 718-701-5720 is my number. We're going to take 2 more calls, and then we're going to wrap it up. Your opportunity to chime in, guys. Your opportunity to chime in and tell us what you think, what your thoughts are, what side are you watching? Because folks are also saying that it's all about perspective. It's all about the side that you're looking at it from. It's all about perspective. So let us know your perspective on this discussion. And we want to hear both sides of the argument from where you sit. Okay, we got another call. Let's jump to that call right now. Call it. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, turn down your background. Turn on your background audio. I'm getting a feedback. Turn on your television.
Better now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. All right. What I want to find out, Junior, okay. They think the PM won't come out and just give figures, give information, and he know that is not true. This man is a lawyer, and he will get his facts straight. And what I cannot understand with the NMP, how could you take this money from this man, all this money, maybe for a passport or whatever? Junior, I just play a $50 ticket and I lose my $50 and I'm not speaking to anybody tonight after I speak to you. Because money, when you work hard for your money and you invest your money, you need to get, you need to get back, get things about your money. And I want to know why the NMP have to do that. NMP is a corrupt party, and they just have to sit back, hush them out. I want to see how much you're going to talk now. How much you going to talk since after the PM come out last night? All of them in the hole right now. So things just had to come out. So we waiting for them and we have it for them. So they better get the parity straight. And Nolan may be innocent, yes. He may be innocent. Nolan is a small boy with the NMP. But the NMP big boys and them, trust me, we putting all of them in jail just so we want closure for that, for Morris Bishop and them. Keith Mitchell and them do a lot of crap in Grenada. They put Grenada in a lot of jeopardy. They can't even get a visa that to it's just too much. It's just too much, We had enough of them. They need to sit down. Sit down and relax. That is all I have to say.
All right, caller. Thanks for your perspective on this. 718-701-5720 and take one last call. We're going to take one last call and wrap it up. 718-701-5720.
To walk around St. George, drive around St. George, and show me where the $34 million is in improvement to your infrastructure. But I want to demonstrate to you the kind of wastage that occurs and whether we get value for money. In the parish of St. George, only the parish of St. George only, 328 concrete construction contracts were issued for the parish alone of St. George.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up right here. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being a part of this program. There will be a lot more that will come out. And we here at Ride Along Live is committed to be on the pulse of the story. As long as it quacks, make sure you're going to hear it right here and Ride Along Live. Quick and fast. All right? Guys, I got to tell you this before we wrap up, that Right Along Live, we are going to Dubai. Yeah, we are going to Dubai. We are heading to Dubai. I want to take you guys along with us. We are planning an excursion trip to Dubai. Get this, we're giving you ample time to prepare yourself. We are giving you enough time to sort your stuff out. We are heading to Dubai in October of 2023. Enough time, guys. October of 2023. So here's what you do right now, guys. If you want to go, you could get on our VIP mailing list. Get on our VIP mailing list for information how you could get on the trip with us to Dubai. Ride along with us to Dubai 2023. Tours, excursion, party, fun, and more. The experience of a lifetime. Yeah, we're heading to Dubai, guys, and we want to take you along with us. For more information, we're going to put the link in the chat where you could get on our VIP mailing list. We're only taking, get this, we're only taking along about 50 people. Yesterday we put that out, and within less than an hour, we already had 50 people. So we were forced to increase it to 75 to 100 people. And so far, we have 85 people on our VIP mailing list. So if you want to get on, guys, when we get to 100, we are going to close it off. So if you want to travel with us to Dubai on our excursion trip to Dubai, all the experience in Dubai, get on our VIP mailing list. Do it quick, don't stick. It's a lot of fun that awaits you. Also, guys, I got to tell you about our the Ride By app, right? The Ride By app is where you get everything that you need. Let me go to the app right here. Everything that you need ride along related. It's rideby.com. So I'm in the app right now. And there's so much stuff. We just had the bingo game. So whenever we have events for any kind of events, any type of event, you could get your tickets right here. Just purchase your ticket, easy. But that's not all, guys. You could also get some of our merchandise, riders merchandise on the Ride By app. As you can see right here, we got t-shirts, we got sweaters, very easy to check out. Just add, check out, put your credit card information, voila, you're done. We also have these, remember the Grenada branded t-shirts and sweaters. They're also available on the Ride By app. Very easy to check out. Just check out, put in your information, credit card information, boom, and you're done. No hassle, no problem. Very, very easy. So we encourage you guys to check out the Ride By app. Very, very simple app. Has a lot of stuff. If you like Right Trivia, well, you could get our Right Trivia shirt there. Right Trivia merchandise as well. Ride along, Right Trivia, no drama on a Friday. You could get that also on the Ride By app. Everything that you need available on the Ride By app. Check it out. On behalf of all our production team here, from our senior executive producer Lois JJ, who does an amazing job all the time. She's on the money all the time. Thank you so much, Lois JJ. Also for our moderators, our excellent, superb, hard-working, never fall asleep moderators, Kibbs, Deanne Fraser, and Gail Charles. We say thank you and good night. See you guys tomorrow for more Right Along Live, where everyone have a story to tell. And also, guys, if you have a business and you want to advertise on Right Along Live, you could do that. Yeah, if you want to market your business on Right Along Live, give us a call, inbox us, and we will market your business to our global audience. Let everybody know about your product or services. We're going to send your business viral. Yeah, send your business viral. That's what we're going to do. Thank you, Carvel, Kibbs, everybody. I sleepy now? Kibbs, you sleepy now? Nah, you don't sleep. Kibbs, you don't sleep. Nah, Kibbs don't sleep. And, oh, you guys, we have a big bingo coming up. We have 2 bingo coming up before Christmas, by the way. We have at least 2 bingo coming up before Christmas, right? Stay tuned for that. And just like how you guys supported the first bingo, we want you guys to support the next bingo that we have coming up. All right? Look out for that. Look out for that coming up, guys. Yeah. And also for everyone who won in our last bingo, everyone who played, and everyone who won, everyone got paid. Everyone, so congratulations to everyone who won from the jackpot. I met her personally. She got her funds. Everyone who won in Grenada, they were paid the day after. Some was paid immediately via Zelle and Cash App. So instant payout on the Ride Along bingo, guys. And it's no hassle and it's a lot of fun. Play it next time that we have the bingo, all right? Enough for me. I'm done. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Moringa leaf is the highest concentration of vitamins of any plant on the planet. So if you're looking to get all the vitamins your body needs, get moringa. Moringa, 4 times more vitamin A than carrots, 3 times more potassium than bananas, 4 times more calcium than milk, 25 times the iron of spinach, 9 times the protein of yogurt, and 7 times the vitamin C of oranges. Stuff is amazing. It's a superfood. So go to Healing.
Grenadian products are now only a mouse click away at grenadamarket.com. Nutmeg and guava jams, jellies and the syrups, world famous nutmeg pain relief spray, black sage, soursop, lemongrass, and guavande bar. Ordering is simple and friendly. All major credit cards accepted. Safe, secure shopping guaranteed. Grenadamarket.com ships your product anywhere in the world. So when you can't go to the island, the products off the island can be sent to you. Just log on to www.grenadamarket.com and experience our quick delivery and homely service.
Stop. Listen, don't move. I got some important information for you. Right Along Live is moving to TikTok. And we want to take you along with us.
I'm beginning to have some serious second thoughts about this.
No, I'm not going to be dancing or nothing like that. You won't see that. But it's going to be excitement. It's going to be fun. And we're on TikTok.
Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
So click the link at the bottom and follow us on TikTok. It will be a TikToking experience. Follow us on TikTok and let's expand the platform together.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.